Davante Adams, still on the market. The Pittsburgh Steelers appear to be still in. They're one of 4 teams. I've been told they are one of 4 teams. The New Orleans Saints, the New York Jets, and the Buffalo Bills. They sit in the same category as the Buffalo Bills, a team that has promise. The difference is Davante is a little skeptical, from what I've heard from sources, a little skeptical about playing in the snow. Not a huge fan about going to Buffalo and being freezing cold all the time. I don't blame him. I was in Buffalo for what felt like a century with Stephen Thompson last year. I was ready to get the hell out of there. Didn't want anything to do with Buffalo. I have been told the Pittsburgh Steelers are a real thing. This is where it gets weary for the Pittsburgh Steelers. There is a clear train of chaos happening in New York with the Jets. Things are not going great right now. They just fired their coach. Things are blowing up. You don't know what's going on. New Orleans just lost the one guy that was bringing Davante Adams to the New Orleans Saints. So you could probably cross them out. The Pittsburgh Steelers have the best opportunity to land Davante Adams. This is what I've been told. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a great opportunity to land Davante Adams. Why? Because he is not playing this weekend, and instead will get a front row seat to what that offense can provide. And if they can provide some splash, if they could look like this is a team that is ready to do some big things, why would he not be interested in coming there? He's already interested in coming there. Why would he not make this the favorite? Hey, I want to go to Pittsburgh. Let's make Pittsburgh my destination here. I'm sure the Raiders, who just played the Pittsburgh Steelers, don't have to worry about him anymore. Ready to go. So there are two sides to this. Be cautious for the Steelers, where they can go wrong. The first side is they lose, and they look bad, obviously. That ends all hope. You lose against the Raiders, it's done. He doesn't want to come here. Why would he want to come? You just lost to the team you're playing, and he wants out of there because the team that he's already playing for stinks. You just lost to that team that stinks. The second one is, what if the Steelers offense goes out and balls, looks great, Justin Fields looks super convincing, hey, this is my team, I'm ready to go to Pittsburgh, let's make this happen, and then they bench him for Russell Wilson? Because this is what I've been told. This is the important part, is that Davante is definitely open to coming to Pittsburgh, but he's not sure about signing a long-term deal here because he's uncertain of the quarterback situation. And the whole Russ waiting to step in thing means that there is no clarity about what's going on in the future. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a chance to shut that down by putting on a great show with Justin and saying he's our guy. They also have a chance to say, yeah, Davante, you are spot on, actually. We have no clear direction, and this is a mess, and why would you come here? And the Steelers aren't going to trade for him if they don't think that they could get a long-term deal done. So where we stand today, the Pittsburgh Steelers have one choice. 2 choices. If you want to put Russ out there and let him ball, fine. But the clear choice is to let Justin go rock, and if he does rock, you say, hey, this is our guy. We're rocking with him. And you say, Davante, come to Pittsburgh. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. What's something that scares you? For me, it's the obvious ones. Death, loss, failure. Halloween lets us have fun with what scares us, but what about those fears that don't involve zombies and ghosts? Therapy is a great tool for facing your fears while finding ways to overcome them, because sometimes the scariest thing is not facing our fears in the first place and holding ourselves back. I'm somebody who's benefited from therapy for a long time, and I've been an advocate for therapy for years, and I'm excited to tell you guys about BetterHelp. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Overcome your fears with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/allsteelers today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/allsteelers. Would you do it? Do you think it's worth a trade for Davante Adams?
If that is indeed the case, yes. Because I don't think it's not like you're keeping in a quarterback in Justin Fields who hasn't proven that he can win football games with this team. So if that's the case, and if Justin goes out there and balls out, he should be starting anyway. Now, whether or not they're actually going to label him as the quarterback one, there's a question in our comment section right now that we will get to. I don't know if Mike Tomlin is going to do that at all before the bye week. But if Justin goes out there and plays well and Mike Tomlin says, all right, you know what, we're keeping him in for week 7 against the Jets and continues to kick this can down the road, I do
Yeah.
think that Davante would still be like, okay, that's, listen, if he's performing that well, and that would be 2 of the last 3 weeks that he had performed well, because I think
Yeah.
when you look at Indianapolis, even though they lost, I thought Justin Fields was, as we talked about, one of the biggest bright spots. If he goes out
Yeah.
there and does it again in Vegas, I think that goes a long way in having Davante be okay with a trade to Pittsburgh. Now, of course, he's not the end all be all. There has to be a trade. The Raiders have to get back what they want for it. But this is shaping up to be they're trying to do right by Davante, and he kind of has a final destination opportunity to pick where he wants to go.
Yeah. I agree with that. If you continue to kick the can, but it's Justin, whatever, at that point, we could all kind of pick up on the signs. They could kick the can all season long. I care less as long as they're not changing quarter. But if they go into Tuesday and they say Russ is our dude, doesn't matter, that's where it kind of gets, that's where it's like, oh, okay. Well, now it's an issue. Now you just messed up. Now that's the problem. And I mean, I'm not saying it's the end all be all because the Raiders get to make that final call, but it's not the best spot to be sitting here and saying, yeah, Davante, look at this. Look at how good Justin was. We just benched him. Like Justin, the 25-year-old who could be the future of our franchise, just benched him. So yeah, you could come here, but next year a rookie might be thrown to you, or it could be like Mason Rudolph. We have no idea. To be really honest, Kyle Allen's the only guy that we feel confident is going to be back next year. So that's where we currently stand. Yeah, I agree with you. I think you could keep kicking the can down the road as long as Justin remains the guy and has a good game. I agree with that. I think once you make the drastic change to Russ, that's where that conversation, at least on Davante's side, because Davante doesn't make the final call, but he probably has a good input on it. That's where that ends. And from my understanding is Davante wants to go somewhere and be a leader and be a guy. And there are issues with Davante in Vegas, but overall Davante is viewed very positively in Vegas by a lot of those guys, and a lot of those players, a lot of those organizational staff. So I would imagine he comes here to be a leader, which is great because the Steelers, they clearly need one.